Whoa, spirit. I shouldn't have done that. Bonjour, mon petit chauffeur, Amber here, and at the start of 2020, for some bizarre reason, I said, hey, I think one of my goals for the year should be to do more readathons. Because I don't know why, actually. for the most part, I've done that. And then I decided, hey, let's take it up a notch for September. Why? I don't know. Maybe because it's my birth month. We love a challenge. Could also be because the 2 readathons that I plan to participate in just are very much my vibe. So that's what we're here to do today. In September, I am participating in not 1, but 2 readathons. The Monster A-thon and Yoncé A Thon. You heard me right. Yoncé A Thon. Both are month-long readathons, which means they run from the 1st to the 30th. I don't know why I questioned that when I was born in this month. I should really know how many days there are. And I figured I should sit down, tell you a bit about these readathons, and most importantly share my TBR for said readathons. And by I'm using the term TBR very loosely because I'm really kind of winging it. I don't know, I'm sort of in like a mood reading mode, so I don't know how this is going to work, but this is sort of like a let's write some books down that fit the prompts that you might want to read, and then just kind of go from there. Okay, so first and foremost, Monster A-thon, which was created by Kate over at Chapter Kate, which is exactly as it sounds, a readathon dedicated to like all things monster, all things spooky. And it's kind of, for me, it feels like a nice transition into spooky season, into Halloween. I said this in a previous video. For me, spooky season and Halloween starts on September 5th, my birthday. And I believe this year's like theme is where monsters hide. There are 3 teams: the beasts, the haunts, and the conspiracies, and I'm on team beasts, so that's kind of like dedicated to like your werewolves and more like animal, plant, nature based monsters. Speaking of Monster A-thon, while we're here, I actually had the honor to make some of the merch for this year's Monster A-thon. Kate reached out to me and asked me to do some candles for Monster A-thon. So over on Etsy right now, on my shop, there are 4 candles. There is the beasts, the haunts, the conspiracies. I'm going to insert the pictures here because I didn't take them out of where they're being stored right now. We have the beasts, which the scent is balsam, fir, mahogany, woods, and vanilla. We have the haunts, which is black currant, absinthe, and spearmint. I love that one so much. I love all of them. Not being biased at all, but they just smell really very spooky. The conspiracies, which is sea air, rain, and pipe tobacco. And then we have the general Monster A-thon candle, which for that one I just kind of wanted, I had all these like darker scents. I wanted something that was just kind of like fall and kind of like cozy and yummy. So that one's buttered rum, salted caramel, and amaretto nog. So anyway, I am on Team Beast, like I said. Our team leaders are Kate, Celia Reads, and Kasha Wonderland. All of the information will be in the description below. And then I'm going to talk about the readathons before I get into the TBR, because I am kind of combining my TBR sort of. So then there's Yoncé A Thon, which also is the whole month. This is the second round of Yoncé A Thon, and y'all let me miss the first one. No one cares about me. Y'all knew there was a Beyonce themed readathon and not a single soul decided to tell me that. Fake. All y'all are fake. Yoncé A Thon was created by Books with Atia, and this year's theme is Black is King art. This one's kind of more complicated. I don't think there aren't like teams or anything, but there are the general challenges. Okay, so you have the option to aim for success, which is completing the 5 main challenges. That's where I'm aiming. I will be thankful to complete the 5 main challenges. But you can also aim for ultra success, which is completing the 5 main challenges and getting bingo on the bingo board. Or you can aim for supreme success, which is completing the 5 main challenges and completing the entire bingo board. Beg your pardon? Like I said, I'm just going to be thankful if I complete the 5 main challenges. But if you can achieve supreme success, good for you. You are the next Blue Ivy. Okay, so let's talk prompt. Let's talk TBR. Like I mentioned, I'm sort of combining my TBR for both in the ways that I can, which isn't really many. Let's hop back to Monster A Thon first, because that's how I've wrote it down. So for Team Beast, there are 4 prompts. You can continue on past that and do all the prompts if you are able to. I know my limits. Okay, first we have Whispering Woods. It's to read an underhyped book, a book you don't hear much about. And for that, I'm most likely going to be reading The Archer at Dawn by Swati Teardala, which is the sequel to The Tiger at Midnight, which is a book that I loved and don't see anybody else really talking about. Maybe I'm just not following the right people across the book internet, but I really enjoyed that book. I'm really curious to see where the story goes from there. I also plan to use that book for Hydra's Hangout, which is read a book based on mythological creatures. This book is based on Hindu mythology. For that, I also plan to read, the priority of September is to read A Reaper at the Gates by Saba Tahir, which is the 3rd in the Ember and the Ashes trilogy. I'm participating in the Ember read-along that is hosted by Pigmentine. For the past 3 months, I've been doing a read-along of each book in the Ember series. I didn't do the first month. August? I didn't participate in July because I had just read An Ember in the Ashes back in May, so it was too soon for me to reread it. But I read Torch Against the Night this month. Loved it. So I plan to read that. That has some mythology involved. And also, it's a either or type of situation. One of these things. I have listed Star Daughter by Shweta Thakrar, which also intertwines Hindu mythology in the story. I also plan on using Star Daughter for the Ma Swamp prompt, which is, it says, I like that cover. That's a nice cover. So it's a good looking book, and the cover for Star Daughter is absolutely stunning. So that's where that falls. So the final prompt for the Beasts for Monster A Thon is Lair of the Babadook. So it is to read a book with LGBTQIA+ representation. And for that, I plan to read The Stars and the Blackness Between Them by Janata Petrus. And that, I think, I kept saying, I'm gonna have overlapping prompts. I think that's the only one that overlaps to Yoncé A Thon. For Yoncé A Thon, my TBR for Yoncé A Thon, the first prompt that for the 5 main challenges is Spirit. Read a book by a Black author. And I am just gonna go with all of the books on this section of my TBR because they're all by Black authors. So then we have Best Believe Me You Will See Me on the Other Side. Read a Black nonfiction book, and for that I am reading Hood Feminism by Mickey Kendall. I've been meaning to get around to this book for so long, so here we are. Sometimes I need a little push to read nonfiction, so I'm glad I have that push to read nonfiction. Of all the books on this whole long list, I'm gonna make that one another one of the priority reads because I just need to switch things up a bit. So my priorities for September are A Reaper at the Gates and Hood Feminism. So then we have Black Parade, Motherland drip on me. We have Black Parade, which is read a book with an intersectional Black identity. And like I said, I plan to read The Stars and the Blackness Between Them, and or A Girl Like Her by Talia Hibbert. I kind of really want to read that book because I read a lot of heavy fantasy in August, so I kind of want to read like a quick romance to kind of buffer and transition me into another month of reading. Also, Talia Hibbert is becoming like a comfort author for me. I believe the main character, I think it's the main character, I know there's autism spectrum rep in this book, that's what I've heard. So there's our intersectional Black identity. I'm also planning to use A Girl Like Her for Promise This My Move Forever. Promise This My Move Forever, ever, ever and ever, move forever, which is a tune. Fun fact, I was listening to this album in the shower, and the fact that I didn't fall and break a hip is a miracle. But that is to read a book featuring a Black protagonist that doesn't center around trauma. And I sort of struggled to find, I'm like, what do we classify as center around trauma? Do we mean like Black trauma porn, like police brutality or racism? Or do we mean like a simple, oh hey, my parents died, this is traumatic? Like what I didn't know what they classified as trauma, because I know I have a lot of books that I want to read that aren't like necessarily what we call Black trauma, but there's a traumatic element in it. Like I was thinking about reading Clap When You Land, but I feel like losing your dad in a huge plane crash is kind of traumatic, and then also like finding out he had this whole other family you didn't know about. But alas, I'm going to read A Girl Like Her, and I'm hopefully going to read that first in September, like I said, as a sort of transition into the rest of the month. And then last but not least, we have Jada A. Is that how you pronounce that? Jada, which is to read a book centering Black artistry and or storytelling, and for that I'm hoping to read Slay by Brittany Morris. I've heard nothing but amazing things about this book. I'm the last person I think I know that's read to read this book, and the main character of this book has designed a whole web game. So web game? She's a gamer and has like designed a video game. I think that's the word I was thinking of. She's also like, I mean, to be a teenager and to do all that, like we have some pretty smart lady on our hands. So yeah, that is my September TBR. Pray for me. That's what I mentioned. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 books. Girl, if you think you can read 8 books in a month, you're mistaken. So we'll see which ones make the cut come October. Thank you for watching. If you're participating in either of these readathons, let me know what team you're on, what books you're reading. Oh, also want to quickly shout out that in September, Neeks has created the Bad readathon, which I wish I could also incorporate. We'll see what I get around to. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you like me, feel free to subscribe. All my places are down here so you can follow me and I'll follow you back. And I'll see you very soon.